Okay, this is the Cobra Crossbow, one of the most common and cheapest crossbows you'll see in Amtgard. And this is steps that I take to make mine field legal. Not everyone does the same steps, but I find they work out pretty well. Okay, the first step is to get rid of this foresight here. All it does is it makes it take longer to load your bolts. Undo the screw, pull it out, and he's done. Second, you're going to want to remove the back sights. So let's just unscrew this guy. Then undo this one. And that's also used for Amtgard. Now this part we actually want, but we have to do some modifications to it. Screw here. And keep hold of that screw. And this will just slide off, straightforward. Now we want this screw here. We're going to turn it over and put it back in, but shorter. So go ahead and, you might need pliers to get it going, but then go ahead and unscrew it. Take it out and put it in from the other side. And tighten it up again. Make sure you put that nut on before the next step. Okay, and the next step is we're going to be trimming the shaft of this. Now you're going to want to take it in small pieces. Some good wire cutters will typically do the job. Start off by taking about 1/8 of an inch off. And then test it on here. You're going to want to screw it down again for the testing. Now what this screw is doing, it was originally the back rear sight. It's now going to be a stopper for your bolt. And the idea is, see, here it's too short. But where you want it is short enough that the string will go under it, but long enough that it will stop the bolt from going through. So we're going to take it off and try again. Now, once you've started cutting this thing, you are not going to be able to get the nut on because it flares the ends. So make sure you've got that nut on first. So took another 1/8 of an inch off. That's getting a bit close, so we'll see if I took off too much. Okay, so now the string will slide under there with no problems. The final step for a lot of crossbow users is removing the safety. Now, on the ABS plastic models, it's not easy to remove them, but the best you can do is breaking off the tab inside. The more expensive models have a metal frame. I've taken the plastic handles off here. These have a spring inside of the safety that I would recommend taking the spring off but keeping the safety back in. We're going to take the screws off here. find this guy inside. Okay, once you've got the case open, you'll have an easier time if you take off the prod. So, lift the string up over, so that it's behind the string, then just slide it off. Now, by default, there will be another spring back here that tries to push this forward all the time. Just yank it out. This will sometimes come out as well. Don't worry about this spring. It's actually a good thing. Once your spring's out, put that back in. And it'll slide forward and back without automatically doing it when you don't want it to. Go ahead and slide your prods back on. And now we're going to go ahead and seal it up again. Important, this little plastic piece here in the middle might fall out the back. Just make sure it stays in there by the time you close it up. Put the plates back on. Don't forget the plate on the back. And tighten it up. Now for this thick of a bolt, this spoon is actually a bit tight. You can actually just bend it with your fingers or with pliers until you get it the right amount of pressure. You want it to hold this bolt in without actually pinching it. And that's about it. Now you want to go ahead and string your bow again the same way the box instructs you to, and then you're good to go.